Hello, everyone. I'm Christina, and it's almost been about 2 weeks since I've been able to talk to you because everything's been kind of a little crazy. And believe it or not, I'm running a fever now. But I miss you guys. And so here we go today, right? I'm coming on a little bit early too, but that is all right. Okay, we got a good live tonight. Called it Approaching Physical Continental Doom, Rationing and 12 Monkeys Apocalypse. So, it's going to be awesome. Trust me. For the picture that is like the head of this live, I have a, what's it called? A link for that in the description box if you like. And also there is a PDF that we're going to look through. There's a link to it also in the description box. When we read that, you're going to probably want to look at it because it's a long PDF. We won't be able to go through all of it. But when I read you just some of the things it says, you're probably going to want to, and it comes with pictures too, a lot of pictures. Also want to give out a shout out to Off-Grid Desert Farming with Paul and Adrian, and also Daily Excellence, that channel, and with Pastor Anthony. Y'all are great, great people. I love you guys. And also the link to my backup channel is also in the description box. So, hello, Dan Patch, the Peak's Edge, and Sunshine. It's great to see you guys again. Just missed everybody. Thank you for the thumbs up, y'all. I'm always happy when y'all share and comment and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Okay, so let's get into it. We're going to start with Biden wants to go to Israel to divide East Jerusalem in June, right after a blood moon. And he wants to reopen a consulate in East Jerusalem and visit a Palestinian hospital. And, there was an article written about it in, I think it's called 7 Israel National News. And it's titled, Biden is coming to divide Jerusalem. This foolish president, who has been wrong on every important issue throughout his political career, thinks that dividing Israel's ancient capital will herald peace. Op-ed. Now, we know when there's anything to do with messing with Israel, there's been way too many people, not just me, saying things are going to happen. They keep talking about the New Madrid. I'm screaming about the Gulf of Mexico. But it turns out that there might, as we've been learning, be a major relationship with the New Madrid fault in the Gulf of Mexico, specifically that the Gulf of Mexico is the origin of the New Madrid quakes. And this picture that I've pinned and put in the description box, it shows that secret plate. And when God had showed me the vision of what's wrong in the Gulf of Mexico, he was showing me that there is a plate up under Texas. Well, there is a plate up under Texas that's also in the Gulf of Mexico, the way that I was describing it. But this picture shows you how this fault line relates to Florida, the Mississippi, as well as parts of Texas, the very east side of it, and the Gulf of Mexico. Hello, Bob Circa and TNT and Robin, Sydney, Australia. Thank you, Bob. Really appreciate that. Always need the encouragement. It's always good to have, especially in these days, for real. So we need to be just at least keeping an eye on when the news starts coming out that Biden's going to Israel. We just, need to take a look around, look at our preps, make sure nothing can fall. Whatever it is, if you're close to, if you need a boat, if you're close to the coast, something, just whatever you need to do, just kind of have in the back of your head to be able to grab your survival stuff, because something could happen. All right, but there's more. Okay, wanted to thank Dan Vincent, Dan the man. He was sending me some information. One of the things was that picture that I was using. Another one was an article that was written quite a while ago. It's called, I tried to pull it up, but it wouldn't pull up for me. So I'm just reading what I can find on his. It says, new disaster in the Gulf, quake, sinkholes. There's a new split coming to town, I report. Okay, and it's talking about how in Louisiana, nature is making herself known. After a new earthquake and a sinkhole incident, people are wondering what shall they anticipate next. And this was an article in 2013. Jack Reed has been following the trail tectonic plates in the Gulf area. See, the Gulf does have plates. All right. He's talking about rift zones, refaction, gravity, magnetics, seismic activity. Has been changing everything in the Gulf area. So we've got everything that it would take, all the magic that you would see in every other big body of water, it turns out. Hello, Tammy. Alrighty. Doing great. So I just wanted to thank Dan for that. That was an awesome bit of information. He sent me quite a bit. We're going to go on to this document. It was called the Regional Assessment of Tsunami Potential in the Gulf of Mexico. It's a PDF file by USGS, okay? And I wanted to highlight 4 points that they made, okay? One was that there were 3 geologic landslide provinces that were defined in the Gulf of Mexico. Northwest Gulf of Mexico, which is Texas area, Mississippi Canyon and Fan, and Florida Campeche Margin, which is the same places that Jack Reed identified as part of, the Gulf and the New Madrid, right? Same places. Hydrodynamic modeling of potential maximum tsunamis. Yeah, we're talking about the Gulf. From landslide sources was conducted for the East Break Slide, which is South Texas, and for hypothetical slides along the Florida Campeche Margin. Conservative initial conditions related to tsunami generation efficiency were used. Realistic wave propagation in 2 horizontal dimensions yielded potential maximum tsunami run-up of approximately 4 meters relative to mean sea level. Now, what they were saying next was that they don't believe that there are significant earthquake sources within the Gulf that are likely to generate tsunamis, which has already been proven wrong, okay, especially by Jack Reed. Okay, there is seismic activity, and that can cause it because there's also plates. There are plates down there. Absolutely. Seismic plate adjustments, and we've got so much plate adjustments now. If you think this is cool, because this from USGS was trying to, they at least admitted that landslides can generate tsunamis, okay, but they weren't ready to admit so much the seismicity. Now, I generally talk a lot about the Gulf of Mexico, but I came across something that was talking about what's going to happen to the entire world, and it mentioned Planet X. It mentioned, which shocked me, the pole shift, the things that are going to happen before the pole shift. And when I looked at all these areas that they were pointing at and what was going to happen to them, it was all the same problem areas we've been experiencing, earthquake-wise and kind of wildfire-wise on the map. And it's pretty amazing. It's called New Madrid Adjustment Under the Microscope, which is wild because somehow all of this stuff, with all this stuff, it named it New Madrid Adjustment. It's a global thing that's happening anyway. All right, we're going to look at that in just a second. Are y'all getting excited? Because this is really an exciting. Again, the link for this file, it's really long, got pictures, it's like everything it says just blows me away. All right, I really think y'all like that. Welcome, Carrie. You just got to Tennessee from Oregon. Ouch. Well, it's from Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier to New Madrid. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. This, I got to scroll all the way back to the top of this document. Okay. It starts with a picture of a map of the globe, basically. All right. And it says that there is a sequence of 10 events that are going to be happening before this pole shift. Wait till you hear what it says. Number 1, a tipping Indo-Australia plate. Now, we know Indonesia and Australia, especially the east side of Australia, around Christchurch, has been having a lot of problems. Says right off, a tipping Indo-Australia plate with number 2, Indonesia sinking. We're not just we've been shocked with the tsunamis. This thing says Indonesia is going to sink. Number 3, a folding Pacific allowing for number 4, South America to roll. Roll? What is that? What does that mean? Like it's gonna like go upside down and then back up, or just go upside down? What is I see what it's saying, but it's like, what? South America is going to roll. And then you think about the fact that there's a South Atlantic anomaly on the east side of South America. It's really powerful. Number 5, a tearing of the South Atlantic rift allowing number 6, Africa to roll. And number 7, the floor of the Mediterranean to drop. And there have been people that have talked about a tsunami hitting Israel before, that it's going to happen one day. And if the Mediterranean drops, oh yeah, I could see a swashing, swishing. What do they call it? Sloshing kind of motion. I could see that. Number 8, great quakes in Japan that will be followed by the New Madrid adjustment. And like yesterday, we had a lot of big quakes. I think it was yesterday or the day before that there were some major quakes around Japan, like major. So this is saying we're going to see more of them. Great quakes in Japan, followed by the New Madrid adjustment. That's number 9. Number 10, which is followed almost instantly by the tearing of the North Atlantic rift with consequent European tsunami. What do y'all think about that so far? I mean, that's just the beginning of the paper. That's just the beginning of it. Hello, Marilyn, G. Miser, Carrie, Beck, Clarissa, Sloshing. Thank you, Clarissa. You always have my back. Thank you. Sun Geysers. I just want to warn y'all, I've got a cold, good old-fashioned cold. My face hurts, so, don't be surprised at the tissue and maybe a little coughing. My face is on fire. Just FYI. All right, let's go on. All right. It says, however, none of these steps have been completed. Now, I want to highlight just one thing before I go on. This thing was written a while ago. If I'm not mistaken, in 2010, this thing was written. And they knew, this paper tells you that they knew that we were heading for a pole shift in 2010. They knew about Planet X. They knew all of this, about everything, all of it ahead of time. And I found out that all this was going to happen because God showed me, and everything. It's like, wow, I had the hardest time finding this information, and now it's just coming at me like it's easy. It's really strange. Okay. Anyway, it says, however, none of the steps have been 100% completed. The Indo-Australian plate has been rising and tilting, indicated by, for example, the Brisbane flood in January of 2011, an earthquake of 7.1 in Christchurch on 4th of September 2010, plus another quake of 6.3 on 22nd of February 2011. Indonesia has been sinking with lots of earthquakes, sinkholes, earth cracking, volcano eruptions, landsliding, and of course, flooding all around the coastline of Indonesia. A folding Pacific has created a lot of pressure tectonically in the Pacific Ocean, and consequently, a big earthquake magnitude of 9.0 happened on March 11th. Severe earth wobble has caused wild weather around the world. Drought, rain, bushfires, hailstorms, sandstorms, thunderstorms, cyclones, tornadoes, etc. have hit various parts of the world. South America is now showing signs of rolling west. These are all precursors for the bigger events such as New Madrid adjustment, and of course the European tsunami in the 7 through 10 of the sequence. It took almost 4 months to get to step 4. It's time to prepare, and please take it seriously. Okay, it says, we have described the plate movements to be anticipated during the hour of the pole shift as a scripted drama, and stated that the plate movement ahead of the pole shift can be anticipated to fall along those lines. Thus, our statements that the New Madrid zone will adjust at the hour of the pole shift as well as before that hour are consistent, meaning that the New Madrid could adjust more than once. The Atlantic is tearing now, thus the Iceland volcanoes, and will tear further well before the pole shift to cause the European tsunami, as we have described. But this in no way compares to the major tearing of the Atlantic that occurs during the hour of the pole shift. The seaway is pulling apart now, thus the humongous sinkhole just northeast of Montreal. But this is in no way compares to the pulling apart that will occur during the hour of the pole shift. We speak of a New Madrid adjustment as potentially part of a 7 of 10 or an 8 of 10 stage. We are not speaking of the pole shift adjustments. Those are regularly referred to as the hour of the pole shift to differentiate any earth changes that come before. So it talks about what happens prior to the pole shift, that the New Madrid will adjust, and Canada will remain firmly attached at her border. Okay, it goes on to show us, it tells us more about the New Madrid adjustment, but it also shows a Navy map a little ways down of, it's called the U.S. Navy map of future America. And it goes from the Great Lakes through Texas, Louisiana, down into the Gulf. Like a lot of the land that was a part of Texas, a lot of Florida is just gone. It's underwater, just like a lot of these people's visions. I mean, the map is there. Okay, it starts talking about dams and bridges that would go, that'll start falling, even ones like Hoover. The Melrose Dam will not be able to hold back the upcoming deluge of the Colorado River. Morelos Diversion Dam, mentioned all of those, okay? It says the African rift is caused because Africa is not free to move. It is bulbous at the north end and comes to a tip at the south end. It is anchored at the south end at South Africa. So when the Atlantic pulls apart, the bulbous northern part of the African plate moves directly eastward, yawing open the African rift. And we've been seeing land separation in Africa. Okay, it says yawing open the African rift along the Red Sea, which is also widening. This inability of plates to move during the ripping apart of the Atlantic and compression of the Pacific is what will create a new rift up through Pakistan and above the Himalayas into Russia during the pole shift, equivalent to the St. Lawrence Seaway in North America. The Indo-Australia plate moves in the direction of the Himalayas, diving under them. Hawaii rises up during compression of the Pacific, so can move if only up. Japan likewise is forced up, violently so, during Pacific compression. The Antarctic plate, as we have mentioned, is pressed down into the Pacific, so will pop up on the Atlantic side, creating new land there, ultimately during the pole shift. Yep. Let me see here. Then there's just like a lot. There is a lot. So this is saying, I wish I could find that one place where it was actually mentioning Planet X. Oh yeah, this might be it. Yeah, it is. Okay. The giant plates of North America and Eurasia are locked against each other, unable to rotate against each other due to their shape. Slip slide along the west coast, measured as a creep by geologists, is due only to slight adjustments along that edge of the plate, primarily due to adjustments within the small plates to the west of the North American plate, which moved to accommodate pressure. It's like, wow, that was a super long sentence. The North American plate does not move per se, but other dramas occur. We explained. Months before it expressed enough to show up on IRIS charts, the Earth torque caused as the North Pole continuing to rotate to the east, while the South Pole was held back by Planet X, tending to open the globe like a jar of pickles. This creates a diagonal stress on the North American continent where New England is pulled to the east while Mexico is pulled to the west. So the New Madrid is put under slip slide stress where one half east of the Mississippi will move toward the northeast while the other west of the Mississippi moves to the southwest. The stress on the North American plate will resolve by ripping, pulling the southeast down into the crumbling Caribbean and into the widening Atlantic, as neither of these sinking fronts will be able to support the edge of the weighty North American plate. It says from Houston to Chicago to New England, the diagonal pull will tear the underpinning of cities and create a catastrophe for the U.S. that will make the New Orleans disaster appear trivial. A widening seaway also does not affect just those land masses bordering the seaway, as buckling occurs inland and far. Okay, it says, what does man assume caused the Black Hills to be so rumpled with the appearance of a recent buckling and heaving? This is the center of a land plate. The tearing of the seaway does not end at Duluth, Minnesota. It travels underground to South Dakota. This and much, much more is in this file with, like lots of pictures. It's got like this, it says potential nuclear disaster risk in the New Madrid zone map. Okay, I'm not kidding. This is like really some amazing stuff. It's talking about nuclear reactors. Okay, a lot of things. Y'all want to read this. What did y'all think? Hello, Rick. Feel like the Mississippi is going to split America from the... That's what this PDF was actually showing, and the map did too, from the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico. It's just a big, huge... Hello, Paul and Adrian. G. Miser. Had a dream, Clarissa says, in 2007 where I saw all of the East Coast, Gulf Coast, Florida, Mississippi, Missouri, Ohio floodplains, and Great Lakes underwater except for the Appalachian Mountains. You might like this map that's on this. That's that link. Beck from Oz. We just had another flood that was just as bad as 2011, but they didn't report on it. The whole town of Lismore is gone. Wow. Tammy says, have you seen that presentation where the guy's talking about the amazing structures contrasting the muddy streets? I wonder if these places flip. You might be able to look at that file, Tammy. I'm telling you. I think it answers a lot of questions. It makes a lot of sense of what we're seeing geologically every day in these different parts of the world. And I find it very interesting how it just somehow New Madrid became the title of this. Like it's like a marker that scientists are looking at that's going to happen. But it's saying it's relating all of this to the events that are prior to and the events that happen during the pole shift and what happens to whom. Okay, so Japan and Hawaii, they're going to go up, while it looks like the islands in the Caribbean are going to sink and crumble away. In the Bible, it did talk about, islands that would flee away and, mountains that would come down and new land that would come up. It's all right, Tammy. It's all right. That's fine. Hello, Pamela. I'm feeling, it's like I'm getting hit thing after thing. All right. We're going to move on just a little bit. I hope y'all like that. Right now, we're facing the beginning of the hurricane season soon here in the Gulf of Mexico. There are no hurricanes that so far are on the way, but a lot of times the Sahara dust storms, they head them off anyway when the Sahara happens to come through like it has the last few years. It gave me such a bad headache. And when I was done with the migraine, all of a sudden I had a terrible cold. It's just really ugh. I mean, it doesn't help that 1 minute the temperatures are like 96 degrees and the next minute they're like 57 at night like they were last night, right? But oh well, strengthening my immune system. But the hurricane season is on its way. So, solar, which you can get, your radios, your batteries, your flashlights, all that stuff. Make sure you always have extra water, baby wipes. There are lots of prepper videos that can let you hone in, especially if you're on the Gulf Coast, what you might need to survive, okay? Hand cranking can opener. All right, there is a article. It's called "As the 2022 hurricane season approaches, the Gulf waters are already warmer than normal." And I noticed the other day that it was like 86 degrees temperature wise, or 90 degrees, but it was also 86 degrees in the Gulf. Like the water, if that's the surface temperature they're taking, I wonder how hot it is underneath that. I mean, that's a really high temperature. I mean, usually, I don't think I might be wrong, but that's a really high temperature. And, of course, hurricanes love that warm water. So we might be looking at a pretty heavy hurricane season this summer. And I just wanted to at least give y'all a heads up. It says that hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th, but usually by the end of September, we're done here in Texas. All right. The National Hurricane Center will be keeping an even closer eye over the coming months on the loop current. The Gulf of Mexico loop current brings warm water northward from the Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico. The current loops around the Gulf flows southeastward into the Florida Strait and ultimately joins the Gulf Stream. That's true. So the loop current is one of the fastest currents in the Atlantic, and that's good to know. So if you want to read that, I'm sure you can Google it. But I just wanted to get a little information out of that article. That was basically it. Yeah, that Sahara dust storm did hit. I got sick. We know. But there's more to worry about than just a face cold and a headache, because we've got what I'm calling the 12 Monkeys apocalypse. Because y'all remember that movie, 12 Monkeys? Well, I had chicken pox when I was a little girl. I still got scars from it, like one right here on my cheek. But the monkeys apocalypse, it's like that in the sense that you get blisters and there is scarring, but it's different virus. Like they're not really related. All right. World health experts warn against mass gatherings. And guess what? Crystal Beach and Galveston just had tens upon thousands of folks gather for a huge beach party. And concerns are mounting over possible future lockdowns among the people already. And but there are experts that are saying that this might not be as transmissible as the last pandemic we had to deal with, that maybe we don't have to worry so much, but we do have to watch our physical contact with other people, and when we can be, when we can, like, sometimes we can keep an eye out for. So what I did was I went to my nose, the CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, right? We'll start with some signs and symptoms: fever, headache, muscle ache, backache, swollen lymph nodes, like under your armpits too, chills and exhaustion. Within 1 to 3 days, sometimes longer, after the appearance of fever, the patient develops a rash, often beginning on the face, then spreading to other parts of the body. Lesions progress through the following stages before falling off. We'll just say there's 5 stages. The illness typically lasts for 2 to 4 weeks. In Africa, this little virus has been shown to cause death in as many as 1 in 10 persons who contract it. Alrighty. How is it transmitted? Pretty good information to know, wouldn't you think? All right. So when a person comes into contact with a virus from an animal, human, or materials contaminated with the virus, it enters the body through broken skin, respiratory tract, or the mucous membranes, which are eyes, nose, or mouth. Animal to human transmission may occur by bite or scratch, bush meat preparation, direct contact with bodily fluids, or lesion material, or indirect contact with lesion material, such as through contaminated bedding. Human to human transmission is thought to occur primarily through large respiratory droplets. So, what are these people coughing? So, I guess basically you can breathe it in, but it says it can't travel more than a few feet. So, prolonged face to face contact would be required. So, you kind of have to back up from people, right? It's just another little plague. Maybe it'll become something, maybe it won't. But it's good to know at least the signs and what you'll go through, how long it'll last. So for prevention, it says avoid contact with animals that could harbor the virus, okay, like sick animals or animals that have been found dead, especially in an area where monkeypox is occurring. Avoid contact with any material such as bedding that has been in contact with a sick animal or a spouse or your kids, whatever. Isolate infected patients from others. Practice good hand hygiene and use personal protective equipment when caring for patients. All right. They've got a whole lot more. You can totally read into that if you go to, the CDC website on this little plague. All right. We can X out of that. All right. So we read that article. We're going to move on to the rationing here in just a second. Thank you for all the thumbs up, you guys. That's so nice. Hello, no Jesus, no peace. Good to see you. Everybody's so nice. I had a fatigue in the last couple of days after the power outage. Sorry to hear that, honey. I am. Hello, Diana. April 8th, 2024 is when Blood Moon X's the U.S. I think that will mark the earthquakes. It might. I'm looking at 2024 as a big year anyway. Thank you, Adrian. Interesting, after the globalists did a drill on the pox, planned it for May 15th. A couple days later, we supposedly got the pox. Diana Gillespie. Interesting observation, right? And then there's Carrie Richardson. This is why they shut that nuclear reactor up by the Great Lakes down. Ooh. See, they know. They know. All right. All right. So, excuse me. One way or another, it looks like we're in some kind of danger, and it's really by the grace of God that we get through. God has a plan for us. Hello, Loki, not nice. We're going to remove that. And there you go. Bye-bye. Not nice. Okay. You're getting big enough to... There's a, healthy amount of fear is not a bad thing. We want to be aware. Those of us who want to hear the truth, then we do. Okay? People who want their ears tickled, they go somewhere else. Yep. It's a badge of honor nowadays, right? Okay, so that doesn't get you. We've got rationing of all kinds that's been happening, right? And it's global too. It's like all these signs. I mean, it's like it's strange if one country is having systematic breakdown of everything, but everybody is. And when you put it all together, like I have it right here, it's like, oh my goodness. Watch, there's a ration cut in northwest Syria, meaning they're already getting rations, but their rations are getting cut now. In the UK, rations are being introduced. U.S. East Coast fuel shortages are reported, but those who can get gas are looking at $6 to $10 a gallon this summer. Now Biden considers tapping U.S. emergency diesel reserve. oh no, we're not gonna start those plants. It could take 2 months. Well, if we have to wait 2 months versus never, get to getting, So, but he'd rather tap into the emergency reserve. You have to wonder. You trying to get, maybe it could have something to do with the plate shifting, and they're worried about all this, like the rigs. What if that's the real reason that they're shutting down some of these things? All right. Protests in Iran for price hikes. Food insecurity reported in Africa. Gas prices soar in Canada. Food riots beginning in Afghanistan. West United States. Washington State gas station ran out of fuel and will be increasing prices on incoming supplies. So it started with a report on the East, and then later another report comes out on the West United States. It's like, this. It's not just the East Coast, it's Continental, baby. Prices went up in my daughter's restaurant on pretty much every item. Like a regular potato with just a few things on is like $6.50. If you want meat, that's more. Everything else. It's people. She was saying that if two people come in, it's guaranteed probably to be like a $70 ticket, as expensive as everything is getting now. It had to, and a lot of things that they order, they don't get enough of it. A lot of things don't come, and so they're always short on certain things like little cups or the wrapping for the silverware, things like that. Ketchup. Warnings of future electrical rolling blackouts. Okay, that's being reported, but a lot of folks do overlook the fact that if your electricity is off, for a lot of you, your water's out. And trust me, you need water to make all the other things work in your house, like cleaning dishes and using the bathroom and washing your clothes, cooking your meals, taking a shower, watering your plants, you name it. Trust me, you need water, water, water. So you got to have a way for that. When you're thinking about electrical rollout, don't just think electricity, think water. And that they're letting you know this is coming during the summer. All right, we had a storm in the Houston area the last few days that left more than 27,000 customers without power. West Texas deals with wildfires from extreme heat. And the U.S. Department of Energy in Austin, Texas runs drills for radiological attack response. A lot of things have been going on in Texas, right? Hold on a second, I'm thirsty. A lot of things going on in Texas. Wildfires in West Texas. But now they're doing drills for radiological attack response. So they know nuclear attack is coming here too, All right. This was published May 18th, 2022. It says Austin, Texas, with radiation detection machines whirring in the background. The U.S. Department of Energy have conducted drills with state and local agencies this week to prepare for response efforts should a radiological attack happen. A radiological attack would be a dirty bomb that leads to radiation exposure in a populated area. Federal, state, and local agencies have collaborated in drills throughout Austin this week. The Department of Energy's National Nuclear Security Administration, or NNSA, is leading the exercise. No, that's not suspicious at all. Ooh, right? Nobody is going to respond when the nukes go off. Hello, Shane. You're probably right. Arakel Toros. Washington State has water, but they were low on the chemicals and carbon monoxides that's added in the water. Arakel Toros, South Africa, Johannesburg, big food problems and energy. Okay, it's good to have that confirmation. See, everybody's having a tot of water today. Indeed. Yes, you can distill salt water into fresh water. There are videos about that. EMP grid switch. Water is concerned filtration system by electricity. That's right. That's right. Okay. Last I wanted to talk about was the Uvalde, Texas shooting. it definitely is not the first in a long line of shootings that have been going on for the last 30 years. I was in one of the first school shootings back in 91 or 92 in Crosby when Arthur Jack was shot in the cafeteria. I was in the library, but it was right next to the cafeteria, and I heard the shots and everything, and I knew both of the people, but it wasn't elementary school kids. A lot of little babies. That's hard, to look at. But it will keep happening. And the reason it will keep happening is because peace has been taken from the earth. This is the last days where there's a lot of darkness in the world. Brother killing brother. People that kill one another. This is all part of prophecy, and you don't really appreciate the prophecy until you see these things unfolding. And this is why Uvalde, if we're not careful, and it's not just going to be at the schools, it's going to be at your parks, it's going to be at your malls, it's going to be at any gathering that you have, okay? If there's a lot of people, something can happen these days. That's just the way it is. You can't even run a marathon anymore. So you've got to try to stay away from big parties, big gatherings. All right? God is taking back everything from us, from our food to our oil to our children. We're prophetically about to go into a major bottleneck in population, prophetically. And this is just part of it. It's a very sad thing. Which is why I've mentioned before, this is a time where you don't need to take those close to you for granted. You never know when the last time it's going to be that you see them again. Right? Don't take for granted the time. Hug the people around you more. Make the time that you have together really, really count. You know what I'm saying? Love harder. When these things happen, look up, right? It could be a psyop, but there's still some the children that, it's really sad about that husband too. His wife was is a teacher, and their broken heart syndrome, that's a thing. That is a real thing. Things will only get worse, right? There's going to be survivors. There'll be people, that go on after the major wars are over, but a lot of us won't. All right. Okay. Raquel says, yes, have charcoal, mesh, pure sand, get pool powder, chlorine, it lasts forever. See? There you go. There you go, Raquel. That's what I'm talking about. The peanut butter matter is deliberate. They're talking code. They know it's important. I don't know what that is about, but I'm interested. All right. All right. They will get Trump in to get gun control in effect. I'm going to be shocked if we make it to another election. I'm not kidding you. It's like, that's first, if another election happens. I'm like, will we even be here? I'm going to be wanting to read more over that PDF file because there's a lot of stuff that y'all might be interested in looking at in there. I'm not kidding you. Navy map. Someone said in another video that food recalls are just the rich trying to take food from the poor when they can't get enough of it from the stores. It's really crazy, right? Everything is shutting down. The whole system. I'd actually made a video, Shane, that said, will we make it through this winter? I made that recently. Will we make it through this winter? Will we make it through the summer? Because if we have rolling blackouts here in the South, there's going to be heat strokes and people on life support and people with insulin. Tammy girl, I love you. You don't have to do that for real. I just love you, girl. You already bless me. Girl. All right. All right. I'm going to get off for now. Pray for me that I get better soon because it's cold. It's fighting me. I love y'all. God bless y'all. Bye.